everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster run Warden of Nothing with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using Nightstalker. For my kinetic, I'll be using the Dawning Stay Frosty with the Solar Scout Rifle and Leviathan's Breath. All the mods I have on my character will be on the dim loadout in the description below. This is going to be the high energy fire Tracer build. This week I decided to go for the Hunter run with Tracer. So I'll be using the Scout and probably the Dawn Pulse Rifle. There is also another Pulse Rifle you can use, like the Ogma Solar Pulse Rifle, and then you can use pretty much any Scout Rifle that has explosive payload. Now I was just using this Scout because, well, I just wanted to mess around with it and just to see how it goes with the Overload Champions. Now it's going to be very similar like the minus 40 power level. I will be clearing the ads or the goblins from the bottom. And there will be an Overload Champion up ahead. And yeah, isn't it just fantastic? If you guys notice, there is some weird bug. I don't remember if I forgot or it's a bug, where solo operative doesn't seem to be active on the left side. Not sure why. Could be a bug, or maybe Bungie's just joking around, so alright Bungie, I get it. It's just messing with me in this video. I mean, who wouldn't, I always get bad luck on Destiny's runs, so this is probably a joke. So I'm pretty sure eventually we'll have the damage boost without, doing DPS on champions. You can use explosive payload on Solar Scout Rifle. I didn't use in this video. I wanted to test out this Scout Rifle, and it has shoot to loot, and I thought it'd be nice to use it, since I haven't used shoot to loot for a while. So there in this part, I decided to just try to skip the train, and it didn't work out 100% because my Hunter is not running fast enough, and it's just moments like this where I wish I was on a Hunter. Well, I wish I was on a Warlock or Titan. So my bad for that. I didn't mean to run slow on Hunter because the train almost got me. So on this section, I will use my super, might as well, since I am using Ashes to Assets and Loosen Finisher, since it's going to be gone in 7 days, since Lightfall will be out and everyone's going to go crazy. It's going to be a busy week for me, so I'm definitely going to rest this week, hopefully, so I can recover from the food poisoning and fevers. And I have a fever at the moment, so can't really do commentary that well today, so I apologize. It's extremely difficult at the moment. But using Leviathan's Breath, you can do massive DPS, and damage boost is still not there on the left side. Oh great, I guess I forgot to put it on my character. See, I told you guys I wasn't feeling good, and this is the punishment I get. The punishment of not using solo operative in this video. Oh, I forgot. Or it's a bugged. I'm not really sure. So this is going to be the barrier champion. If you do have the adaptive perk for your pulse rifle, you could also have it on the Ogma solar pulse rifle. You can break the shield on the barrier champions. Now I have tested this out with the solar bow. I'm going to be honest with you, it's not really that good for this Nightfall. I don't really recommend it too much because I was actually having trouble staggering the barrier champions with a solo bow. I thought solo bow would be good and fun to use, but it wasn't. So that's pretty much what I learned on one of my test runs. So I'm gonna go on this area and just deal with the goblins. You could also sparrow your way. I didn't sparrow because, well, while I was doing this run, I didn't feel too well. I had a fever, very, very bad fever, and I still have a fever. Still recovery. It's gonna take me like 4 days. There is going to be an unstoppable champion. You can also bait the unstoppable to get hit by a train. I didn't do it in this video because I just did not have patience at all to make this champion move. If you want to use your finisher, you can. You know, depending how much heavy you have. And then you'll definitely get a heavy brick, and then just watch out with the backpacks. I saw one, so I try to stay away from it. You can also use your super here, or you just spam Leviathan for that. Just be aware of the grenades. So once you do DPS at the barrier champions, then you can go to the next section, which is everyone's favorite. So these guys can snipe you. I always just spam Leviathan's Breath or heavy, linear, any heavy. Because sometimes they snipe, they throw void grenades for some reason. I don't really trust them too much, so I would just get rid of them quickly. Then we got the Hydra. Remember the Hydra from Glassway? Well, kinda, right? Kinda, because this Hydra shoots void. And on the Glassway, it only shoots arc. So imagine if this was the baby Hydra from Glassway that shoots void. Wouldn't that be unfair? I mean, think about it. Void Singe, Void AQ on Glassway. Well, the mini Hydra. But anyway, we did have to do DPS at the mini Hydra. You pass the stairs, you will spawn the hobgoblins or goblins. There will be 2 snipers from the left and right. And trains. There will be sometimes the trains will hit the goblins, which will be a good sign. If you tag them, you'll get points, but I don't really care too much of the points, but I know for Fireteam they're extremely touchy about that. I don't know why. If you tag all of them, even a train hits the goblins, you'll get the points. Pretty much. Isn't it just fun seeing these trains just destroying the goblins? And you're getting points. I mean, isn't that amazing? I mean, for me, it's no big deal. Don't really care too much about points. We're going to be dealing with the barrier champion from the right side. And because we're using a very strong pulse rifle, then dealing with this champion isn't going to be a big issue. The only thing I would say is just watch out of the trains because they always sometimes mess up your damage phase with the barrier champion. Now, before I do anything, because I almost forgot, is I need to deal with the Void Minotaur, the one that pretends to be Overlord champion. from the left or right. There's 2 of them. And the reason why is because, well, if you don't take them down, or 1 of them, I would say just 1, 2 if you want to. Well, they're gonna pretend that they're Overlord Champion and they're going to melee you. They're gonna go up the stairs from the right side and they will mess up your DPS with the Barrier Champion, maybe make you pull back and then you get hit by a train. I'm not gonna risk it, so I'm just going to deal with the Overlord, well, the Void Minotaur, and then deal with the Barrier last. So now we're gonna deal with this Barrier Champion. And he just loves to hide around. Just be very careful with this Barrier Champion when using your finisher. Sometimes the Barrier Champion goes off near the edge where you use your finisher and then the train almost hits you. So just be extremely careful with that. Happened to me. So I'm going to throw a couple of nades so I can spawn the ads from the back. So when you do clear down the ads from the back side, that's when you're going to spawn the mini boss. Now I recommend to just use your super on the mini boss, or if you have enough heavy, then you could just spam heavy. Because Leviathan's breath can actually, well, kind of stagger the mini boss, where it'll just stand still for a while. Now for this one, I did have to use Leviathan's breath. But you can see you can do a lot of damage. I missed my shot there, I apologize. When I was doing this run, I wasn't feeling well. Alright, so excuse me. Alright, my precision shots isn't the best in this video compared to my other video for some sad reason. Alright, now we're gonna go to the other room where we have to deal with more champions. We're gonna be picking up some heavy. Hopefully the train left some heavy bricks and we got this creepy corpse dancing. That was kind of creepy. What the heck was that? Did you guys see that? Kind of scared me. It's like Halloween themed here. Even though it's not Halloween, it's spring. Well, close to spring. Wedding season, especially. And possibility spring break later on for students. I mean, not for me, but for students. When you do have enough heavy, you can deal with the unstoppable champions. For me, I decided to just throw my nade, or I could turn invisible and just deal with the unstoppable champions from the far right side. But I didn't feel like doing that in this video. Make sure you take down the scions, be careful because they actually can throw fire or void fire, just like inside Terminus where they just throw fire in the ground. They can actually do that and it's so funny. Be aware they can spam that a lot. I didn't know until on my test run it had like this void flame across the map. And it was a bit scary. So this is going to be the unstoppable. There's 2 of them, so just try your best to do as much damage as you can, even though... So if you do have solo operative, just abuse it for some reason. I guess there was a bug and it wasn't working, or I forgot to put it on my hunter. 2 things that happen in this video. Let's just say I didn't have solo operative since I don't see the damage boost. You can still do more damage. You can still do decent damage with 4 Tracer, and it helps a lot. Now I'm going to deal with the unstoppable champion, the next one. I'm going to skip all these ads because I don't really want to deal with them so much. I was just trying to bait this champion so I can spam loose and finisher. That's why I was waiting for him to walk closer to my character, and then I'm going to wait a bit so I can actually just skip this entire area because we're going to deal with Bungie Champions. Yes, I'm not even joking. Bungie Champions. There's so many champions. We got 2 Vex. We got the Cabal Barrier Champion. Then we got the Overload. Right? Then we got Unstoppable. And then later on, it's going to be another Barrier. And an Unstoppable. And then you can skip one. So it's around 8 champions. But you could skip one of them. So overall 7 champions. So I did do DPS on the snipers because, well, I don't trust them. Sometimes they can snipe you if you are on this back area. And don't forget to shoot the barrels because they can mess you up. Now for this footage, I decided to deal with the Vex Barrier Champions. I think on my old video, I was dealing with the Barrier Cabal first because the Cabal Champion was distracted, where the 2 barriers on this area were giving me a hard time. So I'm definitely going to take advantage and deal with the 2 Vex Barrier Champions. Just make sure you do as much DPS as you can. I just want to make sure I deal with the first barrier, and then once you deal with the first barrier champion, then the second one will be really easy to deal with. Because the problem with these 2 Vex Barrier Champions is they huddle, they protect each other. If anyone remembers a Garden World, remember the Barrier Champions were huddling together, protecting each other. Or another example, Strange Terrain, Grandmaster. Remember when there's 4 Barrier Champions protecting each other? It's something like that, except for this one is only 2. But still, it's a pain in the Bungie. Alright, so once we deal with the 2 Vex barriers, then it's best to take down the Cabal Barrier Champion. I'm gonna deal with this barrier because, well, I don't trust him, and I think I'll have an easier time dealing with Unstoppable and Overload last. And that's just for me. Everyone's different. Depends what weapons, what loadout you're using, what subclass you're using. Once we deal with the 3 champions or Bungie champions, we're going to go set off these mines so it'll be easier to capture the 3 plates. Or the 3 mines. A, B, and C. Make sure you get these mines out of the way because they're gonna mess up your time dealing with capturing the plates, because you're gonna have, well, you're gonna have like 8 champions. Well, actually 9, because if you kill the Overload champion on the capturing the plate phase, then you're gonna spawn another Overload champion. But we're gonna skip, I guess, 2 of them and we'll still get platinum. Alright, so now I'm going to be dealing DPS with the Void Minotaur. Does say damage boost, but then again, it disappears. Well, I guess this run could have been faster if, you know, so the operative wasn't bugged out in this footage. Oh well, things happen. I didn't want to redo it. It just wasn't worth it. Alright, so now we're going to be dealing with the Unstoppable Champion, and then this is where things can get crazy. So there will be a Barrier Champion that will spawn, and this time I'm going to deal with the Hobgoblins. Now, you can throw a grenade, or you can spam Leviathan's Breath. Now, I spam Leviathan's Breath because I have Lucid Finisher. Now, you're going to be dealing with the Barrier Champion. Use your super because the thing is, you need to take down the Barrier Champion fast so you can deal with Unstoppable Champion. Now, the Unstoppable Champion is weird. RNG, it behaves different unless you can spawn kill it, but the problem is the goblins and the barrier, and I just don't want to risk too much. There's times where the Unstoppable Champion is just walking around on this spot where I'm standing, or he's in the middle of the map, or he's on this spot for some reason. So this Unstoppable Champion is weird. It walks in different spots, RNG. That's why I always take my time dealing with the Barrier Champion. Fast. Alright, so now we're going to be capturing the plate. You know, barely made it, 2 seconds. Well, the main reason why is because the Unstoppable Champion wasn't cooperating. It's supposed to be in the spot where I was standing before. But it decided to hang around on the B area. You know, the Bungie area. Okay, so these Cabals were way too close, so I decided to just use Leviathan's Breath. Wait for the plate to be captured. I'm gonna go to the opposite direction because I know for Titan and Warlock they can't go the other way because I know someone's gonna say, well, Blitz, you use invisibility. I couldn't go to that other area. For Warlocks and Titan, you can go over here and then you could just deal with the Void Minotaur, the Goblins, spamming grenades on Warlock, spamming arc grenades on Titan. There's just so many things you can do. Now for the Hunter, if I was Arc Stride, I would just use my super, but can't use my super, so I'm just gonna spam invisibility. Alright, so once we do capture the plate, then we're gonna be dealing with the mini-boss. Just make sure you stay away from the Overload Champion, and then you'll definitely get Platinum after this. I'm gonna go pick up the Scourge Cannon so I can do DPS at the Cabals and the mini-boss. Like I said, I was having a fever in this run, so you'll see me backing away and not doing anything, and the reason why is I was getting the blur, so I had to back away and drink water quickly because I couldn't see well. But other than that, you know, there is many ways you can deal with the champion, well, with the mini-boss. I mean, if I was an Arc Titan or Warlock Solar, you know, I would just spam grenades to get rid of these Cabal shields. Another thing you could do is just spam Leviathan's Breath, but I was just showing how the Scorch Cannon can be good too. So there's just many ways you can deal with the mini-boss. It's just these Cabals with the shield. They get in the way, and you know how constant aim assist is. You're trying to precision shots, and then your weapon moves in a different direction, which I hate so much, but there's nothing I can do. I just have to get used to it. And the sad thing is, you'll never get used to it. It's always horrible. Never gonna work out for console. So now I'm gonna be picking up some heavy if I do see it. And I saw some. So lucky day for me. Now I'm gonna be waiting for the dialogue because I don't want the bug where the boss doesn't spawn, the champion doesn't spawn. It's a headache. So I'm gonna wait for the dialogue to finish. So I'm gonna do a mini time skip here because I done in my test run and then I had a bug, and then guess what? I had to start all over again. It was painful. Alright, so we're gonna be claiming the chest even though there's nothing there on the treasure. So we're gonna deal with more Bungie Champions. There's gonna be Unstoppable, 2 barriers, 1 Vex, 1 Cabal, and the Overload Champion, a Vex one. The one we despise on Glassway. Yeah, that one. So everyone has their own playstyle of which champions they want to take down. People will prefer taking down the Overload Unstoppable, or Unstoppable first, and then the barrier, and then Overload. Everyone's different. Now for me, I'm just gonna use the scout rifle just to deal with the Overload champion. I still prefer crate over this scout rifle, but it's okay. I decided to just change weapons since I can't spam crate too much, since I know people don't like the weapon. Now I'm going to be dealing with the Unstoppable champion, so just to take him down and deal with the 2 barriers, the machine gun, barrier champion, and then the Vex one. But the good news is that Vex barrier champion is not a sniper. That's the good news. Alright, so now I'm going to be doing DPS with this barrier champion. And make sure and try your best to use Loosen Finisher, especially when you are low on heavy. So I'm always waiting for this barrier champion to pop its barrier shield so I can use Finisher and then deal with the Vex. So during this part, I decided to do the mini cheese where you have to stand on the 3rd rail platform. Well, I would say 2nd rail, but anyway, I'll show exactly where it is. There's this invisible platform which works for Titan, works for Warlock, works for Hunter. So I am going to be going for that DPS phase. Now I have done this on the non-cheese solo run. Decided for this video just do the mini cheese since people are going to be farming Wendigo today. So I'm going to be using my finisher and then quickly get to the cheese spot because the boss can actually bounce you off the map if you don't go fast enough. So I'm going to go to the 3rd rail or 2nd rail since there's 1 small one from the right side, 1 tall one, and then the 2nd tall rail. But I usually just call the 3rd one. So I'm going to do a couple of Leviathan's breath and I'm actually going to save them. Now everyone is different of doing this mini method. I just prefer to just do as much damage as I can with my grenade, scout, pulse rifle, mainly scout. Then once the boss is half of the health or near, then I am going to be using Leviathan's Breath because the boss actually gets closer to you during the 3rd mini phase. And then that's when you could just spam Leviathan's Breath. And then you'll always have your precision shots. You can also have your precision shots on the far right side. Sometimes. Doesn't work 100%. But it sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't work. Alright, I'm just letting everyone know ahead. I apologize for constant aim assist because my scout rifle was just being weird. Console aim assist, I hate this so much. You PC players are so lucky you don't have to deal with it. Again, console aim assist. I can't do anything about it. Can't control the console aim assist. Even in this mini cheese, I still can't control it. Alright, I'm gonna do mini time skip. Once the boss is on this spot, just spam heavy, linear, Leviathan's Breath, pretty much anything you prefer. So he will get aggressive and then try to walk close to you. So you could just spam heavy as much as you can, and he's still going to walk close up to you. And then once you do that, you could just spam your scout or use your super, but just be careful with the solar. So I would just use your scout. So we finally defeated the boss. And we got platinum. Thank you so much for watching. And happy Wendigo farming.